So all of it requires, the bigger you get, the stronger you get, you have to train less. That's the bottom line. Hi, and welcome back to Mr. America Hart. I'm John Hart, your host, and it's my pleasure to be here today to help you listen, to build muscle, to build that physique of yours. Ooh, I know this is a big issue with many of you. I'm not talking now to those who are just in maintain mode. I'm talking to those who are building. I do know that the vast majority of my subscribers to this channel are between ages of 24 to 40-ish. And you still have a great desire to reach your maximum potential, to grow that lean muscle mass. And, maybe some of you have aspirations of being a bodybuilder, getting up on stage, not just you're all bodybuilders, first of all, but just getting up on stage and actually showing it and things like that. But let's say whether you are or whether you're not, you just want to grow muscle. Okay, so there are some of you out there who are only maintaining, okay? And you might get something out of this as well, because you'll start to realize that, well, maybe it ain't over. That's interesting, right? So one of the things you'll hear me as your host on Mr. America Hart say quite often is that I will never say the words, I'm done. So if I'm training with a plan, I'm training with intensity, I'm training with effort. So if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it like I have a purpose. Other than when you're recovering from an injury, if there is an injury, and that injury could be for something that never even happened inside the gym. It could be for something that happened just outside. I've known, people who have just slipped on some ice in the middle of winter and they injured themselves and they had to come back in the gym. And that's the one time that you kind of back off, okay? But other than that, you're executing a plan. You're training with determination, focus, intensity, okay? And now why is it that, as you saw in the thumbnail, I'm talking about training just 3 times per week? Well, the thing about that is that for some of you all, 3 times per week may be too much. For some of you all who are not natural, like myself, or like the majority of, I believe most people are out there, natural. Those who aren't natural, you may need more than 3 times per week. You have a supernaturally enhanced recovery ability, and hormonally your body is driven to recover. Everything speeds up, protein synthesis, everything. So in your case, you may need 4 days a week. Notice I didn't say 5, 6, 7, right? And I'll make that case later on. But for the rest of us who are natural, training to gain muscle mass, we want to get as big as possible. I said it. Yep. I've been a bodybuilder since I was 19 years old or so. And now it's my 40th year of doing this. So yes, I just hit 60 and competing the entire time up until I was age 52. 53 or 54, somewhere in there. And in doing so, I no longer compete. I retired from the stage. But in doing so, I never competed in the masters divisions. It's not like I look down upon that or anything like that. I myself had always wanted to compete in the open division. And when the day came where I realized I no longer had to compete in the open division, for me personally, those days of showing it were over. And that's it. And now I have private showings for my wife. And that's all there is. Other than that, I train to look good, I really enjoy bodybuilding, gaining muscle. I always have that in my mind. What can I do to gain muscle? Now, does life get in the way at times? Yes, life gets in the way sometimes. Some of you all know that. You know you're not going to train in a linear fashion, growing muscle week by week, month by month, year by year. Even if you're 19, 20, 25 years old, you're not going to gain that way. Life happens. Some of you all join the military. You can't train the way you want to build muscle at that moment in time when you get in. Some of you all start an intense program at school. You can't train the way you need to grow the best muscle that you can. Your sleep gets interrupted. Some of you all go through breakups with boyfriends, girlfriends, whatever, and your life gets interrupted. Some of you all get an intense job and your life gets interrupted. Our goal when we train in the gym is to stimulate that muscle, to send a strong signal to it, to tell it that we need it to change, to grow. We use all kinds of high-intensity techniques to do it. from force reps, negatives, some rest pause reps. These are hard techniques to use on your muscle that require a recovery period, not just a recovery period, but a growth period. So the deeper the hole you dig, the more time it'll take to recover. That's recovery. You train and you recover, but then you're not done. We're after growing. We're after what comes after you're done recovering. Overcompensation, growing. Your body will grow back some extra muscle. And it's a protective mechanism for your body. I know some of you all heard me say that before, but let's get back to the whole gist here. And that's 2 or 3 times per week. 3 is the maximum. Again, I'm addressing mostly the natural guys. If you're not natural, go ahead and add 4th day any way you want. But I detail 2 and 3 way split routines in Physique 101 that you can take and adjust to a 3-day per week routine. When you do that, what is exactly happening? And this is, again, because most of y'all are going to the gym 5-6 days a week. Part of it is a social thing, I get that. And part of it is you're following the herd too. This is what you see everybody doing, so therefore you're doing it as well. And the problem with that is that you have goals. You want to grow muscle. In order to grow that muscle, you're going to have to make some decisions, okay? Mike Menser actually made a quote once. He said, when you have an orchestra playing great music, right? There's only one person in that orchestra with their back to the crowd, right? It's the orchestra leader. It's the leader. It's the one who's back to the crowd, right? The crowd's back there. You have your orchestra in front of you. So basically, you have to be willing to turn your back to the crowd. I'm encouraging you to take the right steps and say, hey, I'm going to do what's best for me. I'm going to do the right routine. I'm going to go ahead and train really hard, but take days off. And now I remember being in the gym. I was always a high intensity guy. I was always training, just a few days a week at most. And I do remember being at the gym training with a training partner of mine. And there were a couple of guys, and they were competing. They were loaded, loaded on the steroid, loaded on the PEDs. And they were competing in the WABA. Back then, it was the World something Bodybuilding Association out in Europe. And they were competing in the World Championships under Serge Nubret. Serge Nubret was a Golden Era bodybuilder who promoted the WABA organization in Europe. And so these guys were going to compete, and they were massive. And I only saw them training. I was a sales manager at this gym too, so I knew when they would come and work out. I only saw them training 3 days per week. So one day I asked them, are you getting in, workouts in the middle of the night? How are you doing this? I was already doing it myself, but I had to know what they were doing. And they said, no. They only trained 3 days per week. These guys, let's keep in mind, okay? Massive. Some of the biggest guys in the gym, these two. And yet they only worked out 3 times per week. Were there plenty of people who worked out 5, 6, 7 days a week? All the rest of them did. I think myself, my training partner, and these 2 guys were the only 2. But I recognized they were only working out a couple days or 3 days a week, and that they were growing muscle. And their intensity was extremely high in every workout they did. That's really key. It's really important. Their intensity was super, super high. So that's really how you justify working out three times per week, is by giving a great effort, going at least to momentary muscular failure where you cannot complete another repetition in good form. And when you do that, you're going to stimulate the muscle mass and demand it to change, to grow. And then it's going to require back from you time. Time, food, fluid, water, sunlight. Wow, it sounds like we're building a plant here, right? And micronutrients. So all of that to say that the harder you train, that's how you can justify training just a few days a week. But how do we look at this? We're after growing. We're after gaining. Every Golden Era bodybuilder from the 70s will let you know that you don't grow when you're in the gym training. You grow when you're outside the gym, resting. Why do I refer back to those guys from the 70s? A lot of them were not natural, I know. The ones that were, they all say the same. They all recognized clearly that you need rest days to grow with, you know? So when we train that way and then back off and rest, you're allowing your body to do what you told it to do. If you don't allow it to do what you told it to do, it's pure ignorance to stand back there and say, oh, your body will adapt. You can train every day. Your body will adapt. Then I'll just say to you, you won't be training as hard every day. You won't be sending a strong signal to grow muscle every day. You'll quickly plateau when you train every day as a natural. That's it. That's the bottom line. How do we go from there? I just told you how you go from there. Have the balls to back off and go 3 days a week to the gym. Split your workouts up in the way that I'm recommending in my books, my booklets. Even if you did a push-pull legs routine, right? Where you did chest, shoulders, triceps one day, back and biceps and forearms 2 days later, and then legs a couple days after that. And then end your week right there. Even if you do that, I just gave you a simple routine, push-pull legs. That was very, very popular for many years. Even if you do that, you will recover, you will overcompensate, you will grow. It'll get you going better than training every day of the week. So as you get stronger, as you lift bigger weights, as your muscles grow, not only do you require more time for your body to recover from lifting bigger weights, from being stronger, that's number one, but then also you need more time for your muscles to flush out waste product. Bigger muscles have more waste product, and you're actually doing damage to more tissue because you have more tissue. So all of it requires, the bigger you get, the stronger you get, you have to train less. That's the bottom line. So the more advanced you get, it's not you should train more often, it's you require to back off. Train as intensely or more intensely, but back off on the number of days you actually train, the number of workouts you put in the course of a month, let's say. So that's it. That's it. All right. I'm saying all this from my heart to you, okay? John Hart. I just want to make sure that you understand that it doesn't matter. There's no burying your head in the sand and listening to some foolish comments about just working out so much and your body will adapt to it. Those same people who say that, 10, 20 years from now, they'll have to live with the consequences of their actions, and they will have to live with the pain that they've caused in their own bodies. You won't be one of them. All right, so that's it for today. Off to my left, you're going to see the disc pop up next to my head. That's the subscribe button for my channel. Please hit that thing. Let YouTube know you want to be notified when I have new videos pop up. And then down below, somewhere down there or there, you're going to see a thumbs up button. Won't you give my video right here a thumbs up and let the algorithm know that you're liking my videos? It lights up the algorithm. It lights me up too. Let's go, and I'll see you next time.